Hello, today we'll be doing a simple project on Arduino and we'll be dealing with a servo motor. So, through the help of the serial monitor, we will be controlling the servo motor or move the bar to a specific angle which our user would want. So, let's move to the setup, then move on to the code. Hello, we are still continuing with our setup. So for the setup, we are going to deal with our servo motor. But before we start, we have to know the function of the servo motor, what it's going to do. So the servo motor is a rotary or linear actuator that allows for precise control of angular or linear position through the movements of the shaft. So the shaft or this white bar is going to move through an angle of 180 degrees. So it can only move angles that are less than 180, not more than 180. And the servo motor comes with its own wires. So that's three wires which are colored brown, red, and yellow. So we are going to talk about the things needed. So mainly we need our servo motor, then our Arduino Uno. So the first thing is that we are going to extend the wires which come with the servo motor with the male to male wires. So we are going to need three male to male wires, which are our orange wires here. So we have to know our connections. Depending on the color, we are going to know the pin we are going to connect the wire to. So for the brown wire, we are going to connect it to the ground. For the yellow wire, for the red wire, we are going to connect it to the power pin, which may be 5 volts or 3.3 volts, but it is advisable to use the 5 volts. And for our yellow wire, we are going to connect it to our digital pin, but since we are dealing with the servo motor, we are going to use the PWM pins. Okay, so we are going to do the connection now. So the brown to the ground, then the yellow, the red, sorry. So the brown to the ground, and then the red to the power pin, which is the 5 volts. Then finally, we are going to connect the yellow to our PWM pins, which are the 2, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11 pins. Now we are moving on to the code. So we are continuing with the code. So the code is going to help us control the servo motor using the Arduino board through the serial monitor. The first thing we are going to do is to include our library. So the library is going to provide functions to control the servo motor. So the first line is the library. And next one is to create an object, a servo object. And for us, the name of the object is my servo. Then the next is to define the pin or create a pin constant, which is the int servo pin is equal to 11. We are using 11 because it is the pin number we have connected our servo motor to, and the pin numbers we are supposed to connect the servo motor to are the PWM numbers, which are the 2, 5, 10, and 11 pins. Now we are moving on to our voice setup. So the code in the voice setup is going to run just once. And so the first thing is that we are going to attach our servo to a specified pin. So since we have stored the servo pin as 11, so you are going to attach it to that number 11. So the servo pin is going to pass the 11 to the my servo dot attach. And also the serial dot begin is going to prepare the serial monitor for us, or is going to help us access the serial monitor. Then these two lines of code are going to help us to print this to our user on the serial monitor. So the first thing to print is servo angle controller. And the next will be enter the angle. So we are specifying you are supposed to enter an angle from 0 to 180 and press enter. So now moving on to the void loop. So the void loop, in the void loop, any code written in the void loop is going to run more than once. So we are going to continue. Now, after the user has input the angle he or she wants to move the server motor to, we are going to pass that angle to this name angle. So the serial dot pass int is going to pass that angle to this name angle. And also serial dot available in brackets is greater than 0 is going to help us check if the number input is greater than 0. If not, it is not going to run. Now, after passing the number as an angle, we are going to use the if statement to check again if the angle is greater than or equal to 0 and less than or equal to 180. If it is able to satisfy that condition, then the line of codes in the if clause here, in the if statement here is going to run. So the my server dot write is going to make the server motor move to the angle that was specified by the user when he or she entered the number. Then serial dot print is going to print server set to, and then is server dot print line is going to pass the angle. So finally it's going to print server set to the angle the user entered. Now there is going to be a condition here or a control here. So the else, if the angle doesn't satisfy this condition, that is it is not from 0 to 180, this is what we are going to print to the user: error, enter a number 0 to 180 only. After doing that, now the last two line of code, that's the while, is going to make sure that we are able to pass our numbers into the code. So it's going to clear the previous input. So if a user inputs an angle of 90 degrees and then wants to input another angle, then the while loop here is going to help clear, so that there will be a new way, there will be another opportunity for the user to enter another angle. So now we are going to continue and display the final results using the setup. So now we are done with our code and our setup. So we are going to show how the setup runs. So we are running our code. So server angle controller, enter any angle 0 from 0 to 180. So you can only enter in only digits or numbers from 0 to 180. So let's first of all see where our shaft is or our rod is. So we are going to enter number 0 and now we will press enter. Now you can see that it moved. So it's on the 0 degree mark. So let's move the shaft or the rod to 180 degrees. 180. So it turned through an angle of 180 degrees. Now let's move to 90 degrees. 90 degrees. And finally, for the last angle, let's move to 20 degrees. So 20 degrees. So one thing you should know is that if you input any angle and you see that your that angle is in the range and the shaft does not run or the shaft does not move, it means that the shaft or the rod may already be at that angle. So since our we've been able to display the servo motor in its function. Thank you for your time. I hope it was beneficial to you.